Hello, my name is Kate Campbell. I'm glad to have been given this opportunity to discuss such a positive clinical internship experience. My internship at the Bonnechere Manor was incredibly inspiring for me. Not only was I able to work and become comfortable with the elderly population, but also this experience brought to me an extensive amount of knowledge, skills, and professionalism that I will be able to take with me and flourish throughout many future endeavors. I had such a positive experience that it is difficult to choose my most memorable highlights. However, two aspects that certainly stick out to me as being remarkable experiences include the appreciation that I received from the residents assigned to me throughout my internship and the feedback that I received from my internship supervisor. Firstly, all of the residents that I had the opportunity to provide treatment to were all more than willing to participate, which can be difficult with an elderly clientele, as they may not be as motivated as younger populations. However, they were not only willing to instill confidence in me and allow me to learn from my experience, but they actually appreciated the time I spent with them. There was one resident in particular with cerebral palsy that I was assigned to provide passive range of motion treatment for. This resident constantly told me how pleased he was to have someone available to provide extra treatment in addition to the treatment he already receives. He would always ensure to tell me what a difference I was making for him and how much better he would feel afterwards. Another resident who had broken her hip was also assigned to me. This resident was always so willing and thrilled to participate that it really made me feel like I was making a difference in this woman's day, as well as aiding in her recovery. This was so rewarding to hear because I was not incredibly confident in my abilities when I first started my resident assignment, nor did I feel like I was necessarily making an impact on them. The feedback I received from my internship supervisor helped me to gain the confidence I was lacking. In all three of my evaluations, I was somewhat surprised to receive such thoughtful responses. Although I felt I was doing the best that I could, I often felt that I was inadequate. Reading through and discussing with my supervisor, my strengths made me feel much more self-assured in my abilities. This was especially rewarding on my last day when we had discussed my overall performance. I had been unsure of myself throughout and had often questioned whether or not I would become a suitable professional in this field. My supervisor had given me kind words before I left that I had the skills and work ethic that will serve me well in my future career. This gave me confidence to believe that I will be successful in my goals. When I first started in September, I had barriers that I had to overcome in order to succeed in my internship. Firstly, I had to find my place within the organization. Being inexperienced in this field, I was not certain of what my duties were or what to do when my supervisor was not there. I was unsure where I could be of assistance, and since the rehabilitation staff had a rather set routine, I didn't know where I could fit into this. I often felt as if I was in the way, as they needed to constantly find things for me to do and to stay busy. In order to address this barrier, I found my own routine. When I was given my own resident assignment, this allowed me to create a routine in which I could follow each day. I would start my morning by getting to work on my resident assignment. Once I finished my assignment, I would go and try to find my supervisor to see if I was needed for assistance with assessments. Next, I would go and assist the physiotherapy assistants with walking residents. Having this routine helped me to find my place. To prevent this barrier from happening again, I would continue to find activities to do on my own without needing to ask others what I should do. Another barrier that I experienced during my internship was being able to coordinate with other staff within the home. Physiotherapy treatment must be fit in to the residents' daily activities. However, since I was only there regularly on Monday mornings, it was difficult to find time when the residents were available. Coordinating with nursing staff was especially difficult because mornings consist of breakfast, baths, various recreation activities, getting ready for lunch, as well as some residents taking naps. In order to accommodate for these activities, I had to get to know the resident schedule as well as the nursing staff schedule. I would time which residents I would be able to see before they were needed to go to other activities, in order to avoid any conflicts. To prevent this from happening again, I would ensure that the residents I had certain strengths that I feel that I have displayed well throughout my internship include my compassion for residents, as well as expressing a strong interest in furthering my knowledge. I feel that I showed compassion for residents through the treatment I provided and how I treated residents on a regular basis. I feel that I have a caring demeanor that allows me to show residents the compassion and the empathy that they require and that they deserve. For example, one instance on January 26, where I feel I provided adequate and appropriate compassion towards residents, was during a discussion with a resident who had multiple sclerosis. We discussed his history pertaining to his work life, his family life, and how his disease had affected his life after being diagnosed with MS at such a young age. I feel that taking the time to talk to this resident showed empathy towards the situation. The other strength that I possess, as mentioned above, is that I express a strong interest in furthering my knowledge. I tend to be inquisitive and ask many questions to understand the situation. An example of this was on October 6th, when I was observing and assisting the assessments with the physiotherapist. I asked many questions that led me to learn more about movement fluidity, which is a huge aspect of rehabilitation, specifically with the elderly population. Areas that I need to improve upon are my level of confidence and the ability to be independent. I found myself second guessing what I was capable of doing many times. When my supervisor provided me with an assignment, I often asked questions as to how to accomplish the task, even though I had a relatively good grasp on how to do it on my own. I also lacked confidence when my supervisor challenged me with questions. I often was unsure whether I was correct or hesitated before answering. I also require improvement with developing my independence. As mentioned, I have difficulty following what to do when I'm not given direct instructions. This is especially evident with assignments from my supervisor, as I often needed to ask for assistance in order to feel I was able to do it by myself. I believe that I can maximize my strengths by actively exercising them and ensuring that I am always showing compassion towards residents and researching topics of interest or unknowns. I can address my areas of improvement by being more carefree and not being so concerned with being wrong, since this will allow me to learn from my mistakes. As well, improving my independence can be done by planning and researching to feel more prepared to do things on my own. Overall, I had a very positive experience throughout this internship. I feel that this opportunity has helped me to become more professional and has given me the skills that I need to prepare myself for my future, whether that is pertaining to graduate studies or future employment. This internship also was very useful for helping me decide and settle on where I would like my education to take me and what I'd like to study in graduate school. My advice to future student interns is to embrace every opportunity that this internship will bring. Enjoy your time and make connections with the people that you are working with, because most of them are more than willing to help you, which gives you even more chances to learn. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and you can be friendly with the residents and get to know them. They have great stories, and some things are really exciting to hear about. I appreciate the opportunity for growth that this internship has brought me. Thank you for taking the time to listen.